with that you can have that ready. So every time you don't have to write that, you can save it as a template. That was the first thing. Yeah, so as I mentioned, it would help you to set up the stage layer button and the frame rate beforehand itself, before launching the frame. And it can also start from devices. So yeah, in earlier there was an option. Right now what happens is, when you go to, I'll just show you in CS4 what happens. CS4, when you try and say new, so this flash mobile, only one thing comes, right? Only flash mobile comes. When you say OK, device will open. Okay? And you can choose from there, whatever device you want. There's a full list of devices, right? That is even more exhaustive. So you can launch it from there. Okay. We'll go back to the presentation. And yeah, you can set up your own affiliate to do that. So this is one tip which you can keep for yourself for rapid development. Okay, not only that, you can see that you can not only for phones, you can do it for your devices also. Chunky, I don't know if you're doing that, and there are devices which are not in India right now. But I don't know if they'll come or not. But yeah, there are devices who support Flash, and people create modeling for those devices. So you can create templates for those devices also. Okay, tip number 2, optimizing animation. Very important. There are some points which I would like to show here. First is, what I mean by efficient animation is, don't using of lot of vectors in different shapes and size, or maybe some complex timeline effects and all those things. Don't use it. Try to be as minimum as possible. That is point number 1. Second is, remove unnecessary point effect. I just mentioned that. So basically, I'm very sure you all know, every vector point will need some memory to be processed. So there are a lot of vector points which actually define the contour. Okay, so that's why you saw the low quality thing. It was slightly broken. Okay, avoid that. And wherever you think that a lot of shapes are required, use a bitmap. If it is not dynamic, use a bitmap. Okay, this is very important for phone development. A lot of people don't know this, but the strokes, as I showed you, right, when I created the button, there's this outline in the shape. So that outline is called a stroke. So the stroke is unlike the shape in terms of memory calculation and rendering. So the strokes take more memory. So what you can always do is, you can convert them to fills. So I'll show you that. In the same file, I choose the stroke option and create a new layer and put this as a stroke. I change the stroke color to say blue, and I increase the stroke width. Now this guy is different from this guy. This is a fill shape and this is a stroke. So what I'm saying in that point is, there is an option, go to modify and go to transform. Sorry, shape. Okay. And here you have convert line shape. So if you convert this, okay, before this I will show you how the shape works in the IDE. You can bend this by pulling this, the shape, the full stroke will change. You have anchor points, you can pull this here, you can do something like this. But when you create and modify this into fill, what happens is, there is no visual difference, right? But it has become a shape, fill shape. It is as equal to this one. So now if you try to do this will change. So it has become a fill now. So always use this mechanism to optimize your strokes on the mobile, because the strokes will take more memory. If you do this visually, there is no change. So your content does not suffer, but you are optimizing the content. Okay. As I said, try to activate with action step. That's in which I am repeating. Try to use heavy use of alphas even in static fashion. So alphas take a lot of memory because every bit has the extra character RGA, right? So that is if you keep changing that one, a lot of memory is taken. So if you don't use alphas, as I said, you can use git maps, or there are transparent PNGs available, right? If you really want alphas to be used, use transparent PNGs. that it will. And test on real handshake as much as possible, because nothing can be as as genuine as a real handshake. But yeah, it's impractical to have all the handshakes, so you can always use device handshake. Okay, the third step is flagging device capabilities. What I mean by this is, okay, you create content, you use the MP3 file in that, but there might be a situation where the phone itself does not have MP3 support, right? So what might happen is when this code is rendered, the MP3 classes or the sound classes will be asking for the MP3 information. There will be a memory problem there. So what you can do is flag that first. First, ask the device whether you have MP3 capability or not. If you have, I play the MP3. If you don't have, I have some other format which I can play for you. So that is it. I will just show you this one. Okay, and it's same for other features, not only MP3. And here is the code snippet. So there's a class of system of capabilities, and there's a huge list of things which you can detect on a phone. Having MP3, has Bluetooth or not, Wi-Fi is there, camera is there, all those things you can detect. And you can do, if it is there, then you create a sound and attach MP3. If it is not there, you do something else, right? So that is the objective behind flagging the device capabilities before you get into this function. So what will happen is, this piece of your code will never be executed, right? Otherwise, it would have. Okay, this is a very common problem, putting into different devices, because devices are of different shapes and sizes in the screen size, right? You create for one, flash line in itself will expand and increase the flash player. So if you are coding for N95, that is a 240-320 this thing, screen size, but there might be a situation where the user is using your content on a N70, right, which is the smallest screen, which is 176-208. So how do you cope with that? Because the aspect ratio is not same, right? The ratio between that, and because the squeeze and expand happens at a ratio, fine. So what will happen is your content might look, the second white page is up and there. If you saw in the device center simulation, there were two patches up and there until I get the full screen. So that is a problem there. So what you do is, it's effective basically, it's not a hard and fast rule that you should do this. So content do come for a lot of screen sizes. So you have to set the stage size for the average screen size. See, you can't eradicate the problem of different aspect ratios, but normally phone manufacturers, or it's a this thing now, that they keep the aspect ratio at least same, so that even if my screen is bigger, the ratios remain the same, so that the content can be stretched in a uniform manner. So this is one tip that if these are the three screen sizes, create the SLA stage for this one. So what will happen is you are addressing the smaller one also and the bigger one. Provided this the thing is same, ratio is. So yeah, allow the content to play off the stage. As I said, the stage itself is something which whatever you put in the stage will be shown on the device, but whatever is out of the stage is not shown, right? But in this case, what you can do is you can read the content out of it. So you can keep it outside. For smaller devices, you can see some part of it. And bigger devices, when it stretches, you don't have if you use bitmaps, it might not get scaled up, because this content is already there. Stage might be inside it.
Does that mean that handling change orientation is very difficult?
No, I'll come to that, but you're still talking about the landscape and portrait.
Yes, because
I understand.
The screen size changes.
That's true. So there are some workarounds around it. See, what you can do is, so this was something which I wrote a paper on last year. So small paper in the sense where you can how to create for multiple orientations. So what you can do is, as I said, the average here, right? In that you create a stage size of the intersection. If it is a 240 to 320 screen, to create a stage of 240 to 240, which is a square. In any case, it will not expand a screen, because it will, whenever you go portrait, there is a 240 available. It goes for the minimum thing. You create the intersection, and you can let the content bleed out of it. You can have layout manager class, lay out your objects in a way so it's known that whenever it is in dual orientation, there is a certain amount of pixel shift. Like in this case, there will be 80 pixel shift up and down. So you can keep your content that way, and whenever you get the orientation